Today, we're going to talk about the 10 things you need to do every day to make an impact on the visual clutter in your home. The best thing about these 10 things is that you can do them in 1 minute or less. So listen to this quick fire podcast to make a real difference to your home every day.
You're listening to the Declutter Hub podcast, bringing you tried and tested, no-nonsense tips and advice from the leading experts in decluttering and organising your home. Now here are your hosts, Ingrid Jansen and Leslie Spellman.
Hello and welcome, listeners. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Leslie.
We're delighted you're here to join us as part of your decluttering journey. So whether you're brand new today or have been listening in for ages, we want to say a warm welcome and thank you. It means so much to us you turn up every week to listen and support us while we talk all things decluttering and organizing.
We'd love to help more people with their quest for a clutter-free home, and our podcast is a fantastic way for people to be inspired to take action. We have a favour to ask. If you like what you hear, be sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your podcast player and share us with your friends or leave us a review. Go to declutterhub.com/review to see exactly how to do that.
Well, Leslie, we are back with a 10 Things podcast, and we like a 10 Things podcast as well. So we're all happy here, aren't we, that we're recording this podcast with 10 things.
Always happy. And the nice thing about this podcast is we had to go and get our timer out and we had to test what we have said to see whether or not it takes 1 minute or less. Now, some of them we did have to do a little bit of running. But definitely under 60 minutes with a fair wind. That's what I'm going to say.
I hope you mean 60 seconds, Leslie, because otherwise...
What did I say? 60 minutes?
60 minutes.
60 seconds with a fair wind. That's what I'm going to say. We enjoyed it, getting our timer out. We need to practice what we're preaching. We don't. We're like, have we actually got this right? Are we being truthful when we say that? Or are we making false claims? So let's get cracking with number one.
Yes, well, this is definitely something that we can do under 1 minute. Just put your towel back on the rail. When you've had a shower, don't drop it on the floor. Don't drop it on your bath somewhere. Put it on the hook where your towel belongs. Put it on the towel rack.
Do you know what will take longer than 60 seconds, Ingrid?
What?
Telling your kids to put their towels back on the rail after they've had a bath.
Yes.
So you can do yours. Do you think, but then you've got to go around the rest of the house and pick everybody else's up or have the argument, right?
Yeah.
Tricky.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to pick your battles, Leslie.
You do. So why is it so important to put your towel back on the rail?
Well, I think there's loads of reasons, actually. You might think, what are they talking about? A towel on the floor. I think towels on the floor create a lot of visual clutter. Normally, towels that are on the floor are damp. And when you leave them on the floor, they get cold and they get smelly. And when they get cold and smelly and damp, you can't reuse them again. And let's be honest, you can use a towel 2 or 3 times. You know, you don't have to throw a towel in the wash every time after you've used it. Although some of my friends who I know will disagree and they're like, I'm doing so much laundry. And I'm like, why have you got so much laundry? Because I only use my towel once and we're with 4 people. And I'm like, wow, I'm not doing that in my house. A towel has to be reused. I'm sorry.
Exactly. But I don't know whether I like the idea of the kind of cold and damp and smelly. It sounds a little bit macabre, really, Ingrid. Do you know what I mean?
I know, but it does happen. When the towel is damp, it's not good, especially when you leave it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's one way of making sure that first thing in the morning or last thing at night or whenever you have your bath or your shower, that your bathroom looks kind of nice next time you go into it and it removes that visual clutter. And when you go into your bathroom, you think, that's nice, rather than, ugh.
Yeah.
Which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So really important to get in a habit and to try really hard to get the rest of your family into that habit of picking their towels up. Well, good luck with that, because I've been trying to do that for 27 years.
I still have hope, Leslie. I still have hope.
Yeah, you're still hopeful. But anyway,
Let's go to number two. Oh, this is one that I do religiously when there's stuff on the stairs to go upstairs to another part of your house. Take it. Don't walk past it 25 times and leave it, and then something else gets on top of it. Just take it up. Now, in my house, I am the only person who does this, Leslie, but hey, I just live with that and I just keep doing it, and it makes me happy.
there's a meme out there, isn't there? Like, there's nothing so hopeful or something as a mum who leaves stuff on the stairs for kids to take up or something. I can't remember what it is, but it's quite
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Now, I don't put stuff on the stairs. We've talked about this, and so we do things differently, right? So you have put things to go upstairs in the stairs, and you religiously take them upstairs.
Yeah.
I do things in a different way. I have a basket, a whole basket, not a stair basket, although some people love a stair basket, although we're not convinced about the nature of a stair basket because we think it's a little bit awkward in terms of what you can fit in there. We rather have a normal square basket. And so what you can do with this basket is if things get put out of place that belong elsewhere in the house and need to go upstairs, you can start to put things in this basket. And then at some point in the day, either you or your children, and this absolutely was always a job that I made my children do the basket, do the basket, do the basket, firmly implanted in their minds. They would take the basket and they would know that they had to redistribute the stuff out of the basket into the room that it belongs. So, and that takes a minute to, I'm not saying the distribution of the stuff takes a minute, but I'm taking the putting the stuff on the stairs to take up or putting stuff in the basket to take up. So it's a bit of a halfway house. But if you get in the habit of doing that, it will remove the visible clutter from your work surfaces in the kitchen, from the hallway and things like that. So you've done half the job, right?
Yeah. And I think it can really make a difference. It can really make a difference instead of having stuff out of place everywhere. And then the thing is, you can't find it anymore. So then you spend longer trying to look for things because nobody can remember where it was left last. So putting it on the stairs or in the basket and then putting it in the right place can prevent so much aggravation in the future. You're helping your future self, Leslie.
You are, when my kids were smaller, there was more stuff that went into the basket. So there would be more stuff that went out of place than there is now. So there's not that much that goes in there. But if something is lost in our house and people are like, have you seen this, Mum? I'll go look in the basket because sometimes the basket doesn't get done for a few days now. Whereas before it would get done every day when it was filling up with stuff. But now it might only be once a week or something like that. So the basket is a place where mislaid things or lost things or things that are out of place gets put. And so sometimes that's a great place to find things. So we love a basket in the hallway if you've got space for one, or if you haven't, then do the hopeful pile on the stairs or do it yourself pile on the stairs.
Yes. Talking about baskets, Leslie, we've got another one on number 3 of our 10 things, and that is just put your dirty washing in the laundry basket. Don't kind of half chuck it in the right direction so it lands on the floor just next to the laundry basket. Take the time, take that under 1 minute job and put the stuff in the laundry basket. If you, like me, have a light and a dark section, put it in the right section. My lights go on the left, the darks go on the right. That's always how it's been now since I have this laundry basket. Everybody knows this. And it's, again,
When you say everybody knows it, when you say everybody, like, I don't know that.
Well,
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
We've got lights on the left and darks on the right. I'm like, do they? Like it's a commonly known thing.
Well, in my house, it's a commonly
your
known
house, I
thing. In my
see.
house, it's a commonly known thing. So everybody puts, because I have one laundry basket in my house, I don't have multiple. So because I don't have room to have multiple, so I have one larger one in my bathroom. So the kids know this as well. And that saves my future self time when I would just want to do a light load or a dark load. I don't have to rummage through and go, oh, that's in the wrong place and stuff. This is also a little bit about saving time, actually. I'm realizing more and more, Leslie.
Yes, put 1 minute in and you save 10 minutes back. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So do your kids go from their bedrooms when they get undressed at night and put their things in the lights on the left and the darks on the right section?
Yes.
Oh my word! Like, I bet they do. I'm going to ask those kids. Yeah, I think you're just making that up. They absolutely do. I could show me a child who's going to do that at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Honestly, honestly. Well done, you. Well done, the mom.
Or maybe they just all kind of secretly hate me because I'm so strict all the time. I don't know.
I'd love to come in and see the kind of, all the clothes like stuffed at the bottom of the wardrobe. When you come in the room and they just stuff everything under everything else or stuff it under the bed or whatever. They don't do that. I bet you guys looking, don't you, hunting for things.
Well, they do. If they wear something once, they're not gonna immediately put it in the laundry basket. So there is, of course, a place where they put their half-worn clothes. And please, let's not go into that whole discussion, Leslie.
No,
But
because
yeah,
that is not under 60 seconds.
yeah, exactly. So, but if they've worn something like underwear or socks or things like, or a t-shirt that they've worn once or twice, and it's now something they put it in the laundry basket. Yeah,
I don't think even I could be bothered to do that.
I know you don't, and that
Couldn't be bothered to
surprises me.
walk from my bedroom into my bathroom, because your bedroom's not next to your bathroom either.
No.
It's like a walk. You got to walk along a corridor.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
I've got a
Well,
tiny house. Just can I clarify this? This is
not
not
got a
like this
tiny
more
house.
massive corridor.
I've not got a tiny house. You know what I mean?
I know, but I don't have a. I mean, you like talk about you have to walk alongside a corridor. People must think I live in some sort of mansion or something.
Like Downton Abbey. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yes, it's really good. So I agree. I'm surprised by the way that this is being executed on in your house, is what I'm saying. But I agree that one should put your dirty washing in the laundry basket as soon as it comes off your body.
Yeah, good idea. Let's move on to. We get so sidetracked with these things, Liz. It's always incredible. We're like, let's do a quick fire podcast, and then we end up talking about these things for ages. So let's move on to number 4. Bring back mugs and glasses that have been distributed around your house, in your bedroom or in your home office or in the living room. Bring them back to the kitchen when they're empty. Don't leave them to build up this whole pile of stuff that you then need to walk back 3 or 4 times to get all the dirty crockery out. In the morning, if you've had a glass of water next to your bed and you want that glass to go into the dishwasher, in the morning before you go down, pick up the glass, bring it down. Less than 60 seconds, but you're not going to end up with piles of washing all over your house and washing up just to then fill a whole dishwasher full of stuff because you got nothing left because everything is everywhere.
I mean, I must admit, I had a bit of a no plates and glasses in the bedroom for a while the kids were small. But since they became adults, I think once they become adults, you can't really enforce the same rules as you did. Do you know what I mean? And so, honestly, if I go into Nathan's bedroom now, and Nathan edits these podcasts, right? And so Nathan is going to listen to this. It's like a student squat with like 15 glasses and plates and stuff. And Leah's is no better, to be fair. But it was never like that when they were kids at school, because I'd go crazy at them, and now I just let them be.
Yeah.
I think I've lost control. Have I lost the will to live? Have I lost control? Have I lost authority? I really need to look at this and start to get back to the kind of, the way that I was when they were 8 years old. I'm going to do that this weekend. New rules coming in this house now. No more mugs and glasses from the bedrooms, straight back into the kitchen.
Okay, well, good luck with that. Let me know how that goes.
Exactly. But one thing that I do, I will say, when I empty the basket, because it's now me that empties this basket that we spoke about before, I will then use the basket to take the empty crockery downstairs with the basket.
You know what? Like we said before, you have to pick your battles sometimes, don't you? I know. I mean, you're like, I really shouldn't do this crockery. It's their job. But on the other hand, you're there anyway. So sometimes, you can make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, I just think I just gave up. I shouldn't really be saying that, should I?
I know, you've heard it here first, everyone.
A little bit like Marie Kondo. She's given up, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Now she's got 3 kids. She's given up on the notion of tidying. Maybe that's me as well.
Yeah.
But I had my 3 kids and now they've gone and now I've given up. Maybe that's it. Anyway,
Anyway, right, let's go. This we're
we
gonna
need to
be
calm down. We need to calm down. I'm gonna be calm. I'm gonna be calm.
okay because we're gonna be here forever otherwise. Let's go on to number 5. If you love magazines and newspapers, they can kind of scatter. Just stack them neatly in a little pile. We know that you probably still want to read some of it, but if it's all open and scattered and next to 3 different sofas, you're not going to be able to find it. So gather it together, make a neat pile of stuff, and that is going to take you less than 60 seconds.
It is, absolutely. And what I do, just going on from that, is I'm not really a magazine and newspaper kind of person. I mean, I have an odd one, do you know what I mean? But I've not got piles of them. Is that I straighten up and neaten up my piles of notebooks and papers that I have in my office as well. So I put those neat so that when I come back to them in the morning, it looks all neat and tidy, she says, looking around her desk. But I'm in the middle of my working day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've
So
got stuff everywhere now as well, but I do the same. At the end of the day, I do tidy up a little bit. I'm like, okay, let me put everything back in its place, because it's just nicer to come back I think, to a tidy desk.
definitely. So I think we need to go to a break. I think I'm going to go and get a chamomile tea or something so I calm down and then come back after the break.
Well, we are back for the second half of our 10 Things podcast, and I think we've calmed down a little bit. Leslie's had her chamomile tea. I've had a sip of normal, regular tea as well. So let's just stop laughing and just try and get some sense into this podcast, Leslie, because we are here for the serious business of decluttering. She says, like, half laughing already again. But
I think the problem is I've already seen number 6 and I know that it's going to make me cross again.
oh, okay. Well, you
The
go.
problem is with these 10 1-minute habits, if I'm really honest, is that no one else in the house does them. I think that's the problem. So, I might do them. But anyway, I'm going to be calm. Number 6 is as soon as you come into the house, put away your coats, make your shoes neat and put your keys in the right place. Really important for loads of different reasons. It just means that the coats are in the right place, the shoes are neat and tidy, and your keys are where you can find them the next day. So just get into that habit of when you come in, because we come through the door, we're exhausted after a busy day or after coming in from wherever we've been, and we just want to flop, but spend those extra few seconds just doing the right thing with your coat, with your shoes, with your keys. And it will be much better for you tomorrow when you go out. And it will also be much better for crazy mothers like me, who, when they see people, we've got so many places where we can put coat. We've got a coat rack to put coats on. They don't go on banisters and the back of chairs. But where do they put them? Not on the coat rack, on the banister, or on the back of chairs. So I then spend less than a minute every time, but times 5, putting the coats onto the coat rack, off the back of the chairs.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I am with you. I'm just thinking, I am so religiously doing this. This is like the one thing when I come in, I hang up that's the first thing I do.
Yes.
Take off my coat, hang it up my scarf, and then I walk through I put my bag in the same place where it has my keys, because I'm like, I can't do having stuff everywhere. It's just that makes no sense to me. So I do this religiously. My family members, on the other hand, is a different story. So the other day I had a complete panic because I couldn't find the car keys. Because I always put them in the same place. And normally, I'm going to be honest, my husband's very good, but he put them somewhere and I didn't know where. So there's me running around the house going, patting down coats, trying to look at his shelf where he normally keeps his like his wallet and things, and I'm like, it's not there. Nearly emptying half of my purse because I think it's put in the wrong place and not there. And I'm like, I need to leave my house. Where's my key? I find it in my husband's coat pocket. Yeah, he did. He got told off for that one. I was not happy because I was like, I was going to leave the house and I was running late. And
I know, because it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Because you do leave it to the last minute to go, don't you? Have your timings and you go and you expect to find your coat, find your shoes, find your keys, find your phone where you want them. And that's the point.
Yes.
And I think the reason, talking about the difference between what we do, and I know that your husband does that most of the time, or what my kids do, or other people in the family. I think for you and I, all of these things that we've spoken about are habits, firmly ingrained habits. And so that's what we're talking about. Start to think about these things, and you will have to think about them. You're going to have to make a really conscious effort to do the right thing with your coat, to do the right thing with your keys, to do the right thing with hanging your towels up when you have a shower in the morning and things like that. And slowly but surely, these things will become habit for you in the same way that they are for Ingrid, and then you'll never look back. And it just
Yeah.
becomes a thing that you do. And the problem is that for other people who don't do that as habit, you have to constantly keep telling them, and they're not invested in the habit. And so I suppose today's podcast, even though it's a lot of very simple things, is all about you have to commit to making these little tiny things habit, and it will save you so much time and energy and effort in the long run. That's what this is all about. It's about that commitment. So we've got 10 things on our list. We've not finished the list yet, but if we think about those 10 things, if we weren't doing any of these, and I'm sure you will be doing some of them, but if we weren't doing any of these things, that would be an additional 10 minutes a day that we needed to do. And I'll bet you bottom dollar that would save you 20 minutes, 30 minutes trying to look for keys, trying to pick the thing, go back with the wet towel and put it in the wash and get a fresh one because you've not done that. As Ingrid says, trying to find your keys, all that stuff. It saves so much time and emotional energy. So that's what this very simple quick fire, although it's not too quick fire because it's been a bit of a moan fest for Ingrid and I. But that's what this is all about, is invest the time, invest the energy into it, and start to make these things habits, and then it's really going to reap dividends in the long run.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to number 7, and Leslie, recycle your junk mail. So when you get your post out of your post box or out of your hallway or wherever your post is, immediately fish out the junk mail and put it in your recycling bin. You will save so much time later. It honestly takes less than a minute to do it. And you can then, the post that needs opening and reading and looking at, that can be done another time. But there's already taken out sometimes half of that stuff in your post box directly into junk mail. It's just so satisfying.
Yeah, junk mail is an absolute game changer, and just saves you time. You can put things, away, and then you can just tackle them when you want to tackle them. Makes such a lot of difference. We get so much junk mail through the door, don't we? Now, the next one on our list, depending on where you are in your life and what the makeup of your family is, may take a little longer than 60 seconds.
Yes.
Are we right?
Yeah.
But if you were really organized and had made plans for the exits that we're going to talk about in a minute, I think you could do it in 60 seconds. This is where we had to put our jogging shoes on a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is empty the car when you arrive home. So take out that little biscuit wrapper that you secretly snacked on in the car. And
when you say one, is it just one?
It's just the one.
When I've been to IKEA with the dime bars.
I don't eat biscuits in the car because they're far too crumbly, but that's a whole different story. But or from a mint or something, the wrapper, put it in the bin. If you have a bag that needs to go indoors, when you get out of the car, take the bag. If the kids have been swimming or have been to a club or have done an other activity, take the stuff inside. Don't leave it in the car because you're going to lose stuff. You're going to then run around your house in a panic because you're assuming it's inside your house and then later realize it's still somewhere in the back of the car. Empty your car. The more regular you do this, the quicker you will get at this.
It's sometimes hard, isn't it, when you've got kids, though?
Yeah.
When you've got little kids, if you've got a little baby or something like that, or, if you're struggling yourself and you can't walk on a walking stick, things like that are a little bit more tricky. So there's always things that mean that it's not going to be as easy as perhaps we're making out. But if you can try and get all things being equal, if you can try and make this a habit and start to take out wrappers, I quite often, in fact, it sounds like I'm just like snacking on all these things all the time, which I kind of am sometimes when I'm out and about. But I'll actually take the things out of the car because it's next to my bins. And so the next to my dustbins, so I wouldn't bring it in the house. I empty the car and put it straight into the dustbin. It's mostly to hide the evidence, if I'm honest. But I think it's really important to take things out. Equally, it's important to put things back in. So if you've done shopping and you've got shopping bags in your car and you've bought some shopping while you've been out, it's really important to put those shopping bags back in the car so they're in the right place next time you go out shopping. So keeping on top of your car in whatever way that you can, and it might not be immediately. If you've got to, carry a small child in on your hip, you might not be able to empty the car at that point. But really think about getting into that habit of emptying the car, because the problem is that if you don't, it builds and builds and builds, and then it becomes a major project to try and fix, doesn't it?
Then it's suddenly a Saturday morning job. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, I've got a whole Saturday morning. And then you're like there from 9 to 12. And then you suddenly realize something is spilled. And you need to get the Hoover out. And you need to get soapy water out. And there's stains. And then it gets a whole thing. And then it's no fun anymore. Well, if you would have done just a little bit every day or every other day, it wouldn't have built up so much. But that's with everything, isn't it, Leslie?
Yeah.
It's that little but often that really helps here. Right. We've got another good one for you. Number 9, tear down cardboard boxes. How often do we get that in a client's houses and we see they get deliveries, they open the box, they unbox it, if you want to call it a popular term, and then don't tear down the cardboard box. So there's like loads of little boxes and remnants of stuff in their living room, for example, or in the hallway, and then you nearly trip over a cardboard box.
I think it's important to flatten these boxes down as well, because if you want to put them into your recycling bin, what we see quite often is people get a little bit lazy, don't they? And then kind of don't, like you got to kind of, it depends on where you get them from now. Amazon have done it really nicely. A lot of places do it quite nicely, and you don't have to go through the sellotape anymore, because you can kind of rip it down, can't you, without doing that. But sometimes you might need a knife or a pair of scissors to do that. And what that means is everything is nice and flat for you to then put into your recycling bin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's really important, because if you don't, then your recycling bin, you're almost standing on it to try and squash everything down and get all the boxes in.
Yeah.
And it's quite tricky. So get in the habit of keeping on top of those cardboard boxes if you've got a lot coming into your house. Really think, a lot of people are like, keep their boxes for donations and all this kind of stuff. If you're the kind of person that's got things coming into your house all the time from Amazon or from other delivery places, you're never going to be short of a cardboard box. So you don't need to keep an excess of them. Do yourself a favor and let them go and put them straight into recycling if you can, or do something else with them. But keep control of those cardboard boxes and the recycling, and make them in a state that you can easily put them in your recycling bin outside.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Very helpful. Right. We've got the last one then, listeners, coming up. I think this can actually cause arguments between couples. When one of you does not put the lid back on the toothpaste. People, I think, might divorce over that, Leslie. It's like the final straw.
I know, exactly. It would just be one of those bugbears, really, wouldn't it, of
Yeah.
people, like, because it kind of dries up and then it kind of goes on the side and leaves a mark, and then someone's got to clean it and all that kind of stuff. And so you really do need to keep your eye on all of those kind of things. Toothpaste is a good example of it. It might be shower gel that you need to put a top on. It might be putting the soap back into the soap dish and not on the side. Any number of things, but kind of generally straighten up your toiletries after you've used the sink in the morning. I think that's what we're talking about, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, really important to do that. Spend that 60 seconds doing that. Because the impact of that is when you go back into your bathroom later, it looks like an inviting space and it doesn't look like a tip.
Yeah. Something popped into my head, Leslie. It's like, replace the empty toilet roll. Can we just please now do a shout out to whoever does not replace an empty toilet roll to please do this? It's so not nice to the next person who wants to go to the toilet if there's no toilet roll. It's an under 60-second job.
But they will spend the time taking the empty toilet roll and throwing it on the floor.
Yeah.
So the toilet roll that's empty can come off the thing and go on the floor, not in the bin, but not put a new toilet roll on, right?
Exactly. So maybe that's our secret number 11 for today, Leslie.
Exactly, yeah. We snuck another one in there.
Yeah, yeah. Are we feeling better now?
Yeah, we got it off our chest. I feel like we needed to get that one off our chest, or those 10 off our chest. a little bit of a whine fest, a little bit of a moan fest from us, because not everybody else in our families have got the same kind of habits formed as we have. But we know that these are really important things, really little things, really obvious things. I'm sure this is not rocket science to you, but this is about asking you to look at things, take action on them, think about them, write them down, put them in your phone. There's habit apps out there that you can try and help yourself with. Start to do it slowly but surely and start to make a difference in the visual clutter in your home. That is what this lovely quick fire, not so quick fire podcast was all about.
You know what, Leslie? And I know that some people in my family might not do all 10 of them, but I will keep doing it because I know that I am helping myself, my future self, with all of these things. So, hey ho, you can't win them all, but progress, not perfection, and that kind of thing. Let's just
still coming round to your house to seek out the washing stuffed under the bed of Max and Anne. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. It's making it up.
Well, you
scared to death here.
You can actually, yeah, I mean, they're going to be home soon, so you can ask them once we've
What
stopped.
they're going to say? They're going to go, of course we do. They're going to go, yeah, actually, I've got it all stuffed under the bed so that the wicked witch can't see them when she comes into my bedroom every night. They're going to say that, aren't they?
Oh my word, I'm a wicked witch now. Oh my God, listeners, we got to stop this podcast. So thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast. We can't wait to see your comments. Go to declutterhub.com/238. And we can't wait to read what kind of habits you're going to implement in your home or which ones you're already doing. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for listening to the Declutter Hub podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us in your podcast player so you don't miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.